All right, so if we take a look at 44. All right, I cannot impress on you enough the need to write down your givens. All right, I don't know what else to say. I say it every day. I say it all the time. There are some of you still not writing them down. All right, how can you not write them down? You don't really know what's going on if you don't write them down. There's no focus, okay? Write them down. Give yourself time to think. So it says, John made oatmeal cookies for bake sale. The cookies need to be distributed equally on 2 or more plates. So we have plates of cookies. We want 2 or more plates. All right, and then they tell us that we want at least 7 cookies on a plate. Since we want at least 7 cookies or a certain number of cookies on a plate, our number of cookies on a plate, that is our columns. Sit up, please. Because if we think of it this way, let's say our plate is this rectangular plate. Here are our cookies on that plate. Each cookie is its own row, or its own column. Can you guys see that? How many of you guys can see that? Okay, so these are my number of cookies on a plate. It's my number of columns. My rows, these are the number of plates. So let's say here I have 1 plate. All right, here I would have, so let's look at A. So we have 42 cookies. That means over here we have 42 cookies. I have 1 plate and I line them up with 42 cookies on that plate, so 42 rows. Can you guys see how that works? This rows is my number of plates. Because then I'm putting cookies on the plates. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. What are all the other possibilities? Give me another pair, factor pair. Remember, these are factor pairs of 42. So 1 and 42 is a factor pair. What's another factor pair of 42? Aaron? 6 cookies, or 6 plates, 7 cookies on a plate. What's another factor pair? Jack? So 3 plates with 14 cookies on a plate. What else? Kira? Excuse me? So 2 plates, 21 cookies on a plate. Keep going. Come on, I need all of you thinking about this. Because on a test, no one's doing this for you. Think of your factors. Pierre? Already did it. Dominic? So 21 plates with 2 cookies on a plate. Excellent. Michaela? Thank you for saying that like that. Yep, 7 plates with 6 cookies on a plate. Mateo? Excellent. Nice way to say that. 42 plates, 1 cookie per plate. Frankie? 14 plates? 14 cookies. I'm sorry, 14, you're confusing me. 14 plates, right, with 3 cookies on a plate. Excellent. So I have 1 and 42, 42 and 1. I have 6 and 7 and 7 and 6. I have 3 and 14 and 14 and 3. I have 2 and 21 and 21 and 2. 42 is not divisible by 4, not divisible by 5. We already have, it's not divisible by 10, it's not divisible by 12. I think we got them all. You guys think we got them all? Okay. So now we're going to go through, and I'm going to do this with colors. My first one is no more than 2 plates. So which bit of data is my number of plates? Which bit of data? This column of information here or this column of information here? What deals with my number of plates? Mia? My rows. So my rows I'm going to consider, I'm going to do that in pink. All right, so Mia, what number of plates do not meet that qualification? I want more than 2 plates. 2 or more plates. 2 or more plates? Let me see. 2 or more plates. So what does not meet our qualification, Mia? They don't all. 2 or more plates. Kira? I'm sorry, Layla? The first one. This one does not meet it because this is 1 plate. So that does not meet our qualifications. Okay, that's the only one. All right, now at least 7 cookies on a plate. Well, that is our number of columns because our number of columns are cookies on a plate. This is why it's really important for you to say what the data is. I don't want to just see rows and columns. I need you telling me if it's rows of seats, obviously it's rows. Okay? But if here it's number of plates. All right? So, at least 7 cookies on a plate. Which ones of our number of cookies on a plate do not meet this? You want at least 7 cookies on a plate. Jack? So 42 and 1 doesn't because we don't want just 1 cookie. What else? 14 and 3 does not. What else? 7 and 6. Excellent, because that doesn't, right? 21 and 2. So here are my possible combinations right there. 6 plates with 7 cookies on a plate, 3 plates with 14 cookies on a plate, 2 plates with 21 cookies on a plate. You guys cool with that? Are there any that you guys want to talk about before I give you more examples? Okay, put this away, get your notes out. Okay, today is 12/17. I want to practice using factors. Okay, so let's say you are in charge of making flag football teams. For the City League. So you're in charge of making flag football teams for the City League. Okay. There are 240, so you guys are going to need to think, this is going to take you a little while. There are 240 kids signed up for the league. I'll make this a little easier. Let's make that 180. That won't be quite as hard. It's going to make you think. There are 180 kids signed up for the league. You need to have at least 8 teams. And each team will have at least 9 players on a team. All teams have the same amount of players. What are the possible combinations? What are the possible combinations? All right, so you need to think about, what do my rows stand for here? What do my columns stand for here? Be specific. I don't want to just see rows and columns. Think back to your cookies. All right, you may work with other people by you. All right, I need you to stay very organized. I highly recommend when you're figuring out your factors, you're not randomly figuring them out. Start with 1, go to 2, then 3, then 4. Use your divisibility rules. All right, be very organized so you have all possible combinations, and then limit it. Go ahead. Again, I highly recommend when you're looking at your factors, you start with 1 and then go to 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5. All right, be organized. There's a lot of factors. There's on a team? Yep, absolutely. What is 1 times 9, 180? You guys, these have to be factors of 180. So 1 times 180 are 2 factors of 180. 2 times 90 are factors of 180. So 2 teams, 90 players on a team. All right, think of your divisibility rules. sure your rows, what do your rows mean? What information here is your rows? Alex, number of teams. What information here is your columns? Number of players on the team, right? So these are your possible combinations. So these are all the possible combinations. So I'm going to cover this up just so you can see when it stops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, and 12 are all factors. So you have 1 and 180, 2 and 90, 3 and 60, 4 and 45, 5 and 36. You're all making sure you have these. 6 and 30, 9 and 20, and then 12 and 15. And then the reverse of all of those. Layla. 10. Did I forget 10? I totally forgot 10. So 10 and 18, right? And then 18 and 10. Thank you. Okay, so now that I've done that, what are my limitations? What are my limitations? What did I say? Erin? So we want at least 8 teams. So let's go to our teams. Let's cross off the ones that don't meet that qualification. The nice thing about how I organize this is that I started with 1 and worked my way up. And now I can see all of them in sequential order, the ones that don't meet this. How many of you guys can see that's how I've organized it? So none of these meet this. At least 8 teams. So I need to get rid of all of those. So I'm getting rid of all of these options. All right, what about my number of players on a team? What was my limitation there? Vincent? Pardon me? At least 9 players. Not just 9 players, at least 9 players. So now I'm going to go to here. Now I'm going to start at my bottom, and I'm going to get rid of all of them that are lower than 9 players. So here are my possible combinations. 9 teams with 20 players, 10 teams with 18 players, 12 teams with 15 players, 15 teams with 12 players, 18 teams with 10 players, and 20 teams with 9 players. How many of you guys see how important it is to stay very organized with your factors? All right, I would not alternate between 1 and 180 and then 180 and 1. You can, all right, but figuring out the limitations on those can be a little bit, it'll take a little longer. So I would just go all the way up and then all the way back down. That's my recommendation, but I don't care how you do it as long as you get them all. You guys cool with this? So tonight's homework has 3 problems that are just like these. Please be organized. All right, you guys cool? All right, you guys can go. Hustle to Spanish, please.